Hello, welcome to March 28th, 2028. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, an exercise that I do every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 6:01 a.m. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met. I go over the 8 objectives of my creed to align myself with my plan for the day, to get myself my North Star set, and I talk about what my plans are for the day. But before I do that, I want to welcome new YouTube subscribers and welcome you to my channel. I do 2 daily uploads. This upload right here, which is a live, happens in the morning here in Japan. This is my journal entry. So it's in Japan. I'm in a Japanese convenience store, but it's not necessarily about Japan. So just to give you a heads up. So these videos are you're welcome to join me, but it's just me talking about it's Dear Diary time, so to speak. I do need to let you know I do talk about sensitive subjects in these videos, so just be aware of that. Death, a few other things. Also, the other video that I do once a day is an upload in the Retiring in Japan series. That video will go live at 4 p.m. every day here, Japan time. That's a curated, compiled video upload, whereas this is me live impromptu. Okay. Also, I do want to thank you for watching my video, as well as those who are members on my channel, and especially my Patreon supporters. You bought me my coffee this morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And with that said, let's get started. I'm going to do 3 things now. I'm going to talk about the last 24 hours, see how I did with challenges and opportunity that were noteworthy. I'll talk about the 8 objectives of my creed, and I'll finish with my plan for the day. Now, there was a lot that happened in the last 24 hours, but I feel like it's a little scattered. I keep notes every day, so I think I've got it listed out, but I might be in danger of popping around a little bit or even wholesale missing things. It's one of those times when I start my journal, Dear Diary, and it's like, am I going to catch it all? So for the last 24 hours, I have 2 notes here. Neither of these are notes that need a score. I usually score myself because what I'm trying to do in these exercises is to pick out the things that happened in the last 24 hours where something happened that took me off guard or challenged me in some way. And I want to see, how did I do with that? Did I respond well? In accordance with my life objectives, utilizing my principles, or heretofore unfound principles to help me. By the way, there's 35 principles in my creed, and all 35 of them were extracted like ore, from the ground, from the ground of 60 years of experience. Granted, I borrowed a lot of them wholesale or in part from others, namely the Stoics, but a lot of them are my own, and sometimes I still encounter new ones, although it doesn't happen very much. That's how the number got to 35. So what happened, I've been reviewing yesterday, what happened that was worth noting as a challenge or an opportunity? And I really couldn't think of anything that stood out. Yesterday was a pretty piecemeal day. It just happened kind of in accordance with how I would expect a retired man's life to unfold on a Thursday. Oh, by the way, if I didn't mention, I'm 60, I'm American, I'm retired, I'm married to a Japanese woman, she's also retired. We have a 24-year-old daughter who lives in Tokyo, and we raised her half in America, half in Japan, so she got a double dose. But I do have these 2 notes. One says conquered thoughts and peaceful feeling. Let's go over those. Conquered thoughts. This is a new experience that's happening and I've hinted at it in the past days, more and more as errant thoughts arise in the mind, I'm able to identify them and set them scattering or put them to rest. In a very lightning fast way. Why is that noteworthy? It's because In the past, what would happen is they would linger, and the description, I have kind of two analogies that I come up with. I don't know if analogy is the right word. One would be a persistent buzzing mosquito that you can't get, right? Although that's not quite right, because sometimes when these notions happen, like an unworthy thought, like like you know, thinking about something that you, in hindsight, you wish you hadn't spent your time thinking about. I don't need to give you any examples, but you know what it's like to when you wake up, you can't even come, step aside 30 minutes into it, and you go, wow, did I just waste 30 minutes of my time thinking about that kind of thing? Now, in the past, like I'm talking about before I retired, those things would come to mind, and I would realize that I had been dogged by such a thought all the day long. And in the evening, I'd be like, good gosh, I mean, how much time did I spend today wasted thinking about that useless thought? Because usually it's totally useless stuff. It's Jerry Springer type of Schadenfreude, what is it called, that word? Kind of subduing my own, guilt or unhappiness, by focusing on the challenges or even the miseries of others. That's one nasty thing. I mean, what a waste of time that is. Much rather spend the time trying to make the world a better place than spectating on the suffering of others. What a waste of time. Another time is wasted time spent. I guess I am giving you some examples. Wasted time spent mulling over past mistakes that are far beyond resolution, where no further energies or even thought are necessary other than the thought of remembrance, so that we can hope to avoid do that again. The list goes on and on and on. It's spectator sports. It's rerun thoughts. It's stuff that is a friggin' waste of time. During my working years, I was so distracted by work that I would not catch these things. Like I said, it was like a mosquito buzzing around that you just couldn't get. But a better example I thought of was, I was walking here just now, was like if you had an alarm watch, one of those Casio electronic watches, and somehow it's got an alarm that you can't turn off. It's just buzzing all the time, and it's changing, it's altering. Because if it was just one sound, you get used to it. Maybe it's got 65 different tones, and every 5 minutes it changes the tone. Imagine if you, night and day, imagine if you had to live with that all the time, and trying to then husband and manage the thoughts as well. It would be hard to do. That buzzing alarm was my career. 40 years of slaving away at the grind, that kept my mind duly exhausted and distracted, so that I couldn't tend to these thoughts. Now I'm almost 4 months into retirement and freedom, and suddenly when those things happen, I'm like, because this is no coincidence that I've got this other note is peaceful feeling, because yesterday was a very, very peaceful, restful day for a Thursday. I was in the garden, I was on the balcony, I was reading in my room, I was having breakfast with my wife, I was taking long walks, the weather was pleasant, it was absolutely splendid. So in the midst of all of that, when these errant thoughts would appear, dun, 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 they would jump onto the stage, I would be like, what the hell are you doing here? You don't belong here. Reason, my arbiter of how I'm going to spend my time, jumped to the fore, and like a major domo, right? You have no audience before this. You have no audience here. Off you go. This is happening a lot. Conquered thoughts. They have less and less of a chance the further I'm getting into retirement, the less my thoughts these errant thoughts have of holding an audience with my mind, with my consciousness, and robbing my damn time. That's a good thing. Now, of course, I know that my mental faculties will begin to decline, and so, again, this is the sweet spot. These years from 60 to 65, 66, are the sweet spot, I think, where, just like right now, the sweet spring days are here. Not too hot, not too cold, life just burgeoning, peaceful, easy feeling, as the eagle says. They say this is only going to last so long, right? Storms that I will not be able to weather are on their way. Okay, that was the last 24 hours. Damn good day yesterday. Nothing challenged me. Conquered thoughts. peaceful feeling. Just watch today's upload. You'll get a sense of it. I just uploaded it. It won't go live for another half day this afternoon, but if you watch it, you'll get a sense. They're retiring in Japan. Day 104 upload. Okay, the 8 objectives of my creed are as follows: to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions relative to my creed, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully, and to keep my bloody balance. You can read about those in detail in my book, Going Alone, available to read for free at goingalone.org in the chapter titled The Good Life. Okay, as for today, as I do each thing, as I go through the list, I just check it off. I have one last thing to cover, which is the next 24 hours. Before I do that, though, I do need to point out that I do have yesterday, how do I say this? How do I approach this? Let me take a running start at it. I always want to, when it comes to talking finances, I always want to do so in a way that protects my family's privacy, is circumspect, but is honest. Remember, a lot of what I'm doing right now is sharing this experience of retirement, and you would not believe, guys, how many people there are out there just like my wife and I. I've been reached out to by so many people because my email is available. People who are just like us, who are like, most of them are like in the process, or like 3 to 5 years out of doing the same thing, and it's like, Yumiko and I have done it, and now they're writing to me and say, hey, we're planning the same damn thing in 2, 3, 5 years, and they got kids like our age. It's the exact same thing. So hopefully this is especially beneficial to those who are not only facing down retirement, but also maybe facing down or planning to retire in Japan. But here's the thing. Yesterday was an enormous day. This week was an enormous week. Well, for 2 things. One, I paid my damn taxes for 2024, my last year of professional tax due, right? I won't be, next year's taxes will be different. They'll be complicated because I have to file in Japan too, but they won't be this, giant affair like, when you're fully employed, couple, with all the complicated stuff of life. Taxes are challenging. Less so next year. Okay, that was good. And it's mostly just a milestone. It really feels like hammering the friggin' nail in the coffin of my career, which I'm grateful for, but I hate. Okay, the second thing that was big yesterday was this week we decided what we're going to do for the reform work, the remodel work, the new bath, the Japanese bath, and the senmenjo, and the toilet, and what we wanted to do for, reform. We got the final. We know what the bottom line is. And the thing was, yesterday I moved the money for that from America to Japan. So now all the money for that is sitting in the Japanese bank account. That is really consequential because that's the last of the big moves of money. Now, this is where I have to be careful about what I say, because I don't like talking about my own financial circumstance beyond big particulars, right? The 3 big things, 4. The 4 big things that it took financially to make this transition from Japan to America was 1, the move itself. 2, the purchase of a car. 3, the purchase of a home. 4, the execution of whatever remodeling we needed to do to make the home comfortable and safe. The first 3 are all done. The last one is decided, and all the money to pay for it was moved from America to Japan yesterday, successfully. Now, we're not done, right? I mean, still have to do the work, and they're coming today. The contractors, the actual representatives from, who is it? The people that will be doing, it's a manufacturer that will be doing the remove. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. The Japanese bath unit bath company that we chose, Takara Standard, does all the work themselves. It's a ceramic finish type of a bath. It's like, it's like an entire room with a ceramic finish. It's kind of a high tech thing. It's easy to clean, well insulated, etc. But as a result, it's complicated, so they don't allow just anybody to install it. Takara Standard requires that they either do the installation or a certified installer do it, and so our contractor is not a certified installer with them, so the Takara Standard will do it itself. So a little more expensive, but I'm glad we'll get it done by the actual manufacturer. So anyway, their agent is coming today to take all the measurements and scope everything out. That's big. So, but still, okay, so my wife's got her hands full. My wife takes care of it. She and I, Yumiko and I, have this deal. Remember, we've been together almost 40 years, nearly split our time equally between the two countries. Our deal is, because I'm American, she's Japanese, our deal is that when we're in whatever country we're in, the native of that country takes the lead. So when we were in America, for all the decades that we were in America, I led the charge. I took care of taking care of all the bills. I dealt with all the people because I was the native speaker. I was the native reader. I was all that stuff. And we're in Japan. Yumiko does that. I also responsible for all the finances in America. Yumiko is responsible for all the finances in Japan. Now, so what that means is that my job is done. I got the money from America to Japan. It's in her Japanese bank account. The rest is in Yumiko's hands. So it might sound like it's unfair, but it's in the balance. It's always worked out. I mean, when we're over in America, I did a hell of a lot, and when we're over here, she does a hell of a lot. But all that will end once we get the house pretty much in good shape. So that's very significant to me. So what that means, what that prompts is every time I complete something big like that, I go in, I keep budgets, I go in and I update the budget to reflect all of that. So even though I just updated the budget last week, I'm going to go in and do it again today. So I'm calling today New Budget Day, because I'm going to do it again to update the fact that the money is moved to get it, because it gives me the peace of mind. If I can forecast, if I can see ahead how money is going to be spent for the remainder of 2025, then that gives me peace of mind. I don't have to worry about it. So that's the one thing I plan to do. One thing I plan to do today is to make the new budget. I'm calling it the remaining 2025 financial plan. Also, I know I'm going to take this one off the list. That's all I'm going to do. I won't even mention what the second thing was, because I don't want to set the stage if I'm not going to do it. That's it. Okay, I think my meditation for today is done. Let's read comments, and I'll be done. Blue Tanuki, hey Blue Tanuki. Oh, quiet in chat today. Have a good day. You too. Blue Tanuki goes on. Do you think you might write a special sequel to the second edition of your book on retirement in Japan after you have some hindsight after several years? Funny you should ask. I actually am going to write another book. It's going to be called Retiring in Japan, the First 100 Days. The reason that it's already written, because if you're familiar with my Retiring in Japan series, I do a write-up every day. So I get up, I say I do this exercise early in the morning. I start this around 6. I actually am up at 4 a.m. every morning, and I'm writing. I write my journal entry, which is the Retiring in Japan blog. So I have 103 entries. And I realized that this week that those 103 written journal entries, if I put them together, I would have a nice little booklet that would be a supplemental series to the book I wrote, Retiring in Japan, which the Retiring in Japan tells the story of how we made it happen. Retiring in Japan, the first 100 days, is the story of the ups and the downs, the trials and challenges and the opportunities of the first 100 days, written on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, the book's already written. I just need to compile it. Funny that you should ask if I was going to do that. Thanks, and thank you for asking. And it's always great to see you, Blue Tanuki, in comments. Thank you. Whiskey, how have you found transferring money into Japan? Are you asked for the reason for the transfer from the Japanese bank side? Dirt simple, instantaneous, zero problems. Anything, everywhere from transferring, $10 because I'm low on money at the convenience store, to transferring $35,000. That's the maximum I've done so far is 35,000. I mean, and when we bought the house, I transferred money over in $35,000 chunks, instantaneous every single time, no questions asked. I was able to bring $35,000 over from have it sitting in my bank in the United States to sitting in my wife's account here in Japan in 5 minutes. No questions asked. It's all outlined in my book, Going Alone, but I'll tell you what it is. I use Wise, and I tried OFX. OFX works as well, but it costs more. And if you're curious about how much it costs to do this, 0.6% per transfer. That's all in. That's all the fees. So if you're going to transfer $10,000 using Wise from an American bank to a Japanese bank, your all-in cost to transfer the $10,000 will be zero. At this is right now 2025, whatever, March 25th, March 28th, 0.6%. I did it yesterday. I moved all the remodel money over as well. It's astonishing. It's so easy. Sorry, I go on and on about this. I just can't believe how easy it is to get money from America to Japan. Have heard the tax authorities also get records and may want to know as well tax on both sides, U.S. and Japan. Be prepared to answer questions. Any experience? Not yet. My accountant and I are on it though. We just finished our taxes and she's already preparing documents. Even though she doesn't do taxes in Japan, she's familiar. She's really like a really high level tax authority in the United States and in high demand, so she's aware of what goes on, and she's already begun filing forms to get me in place. And she said after the April 15th rush is over, she and I are going to talk about the plans for 2025 taxes. And I've already been in contact with 2 accountants in Japan to lining up accountant representation here, so that I'll have a high-powered accountant in America and a high-powered accountant in Japan working together. I'm looking for an accountant here that speaks English that must maybe talk to my accountant in America if necessary to have it all lined up. So yeah, we're ready. I shouldn't say we're ready. I'm hiring people to make sure that there are no problems. Erica is growing. Hi Erica, good to see you. Kurt, cheers to a great day. Thank you. Wise, and Whiskey says Wise is great. Just opened one recently. Yeah, very pleased with the experience. Okay, everybody, that's it. That's the last of the comments. I'm going to sign off for now. It's a rainy day today. Head back to the house. Yumiko and I have, like I said, we have the representatives from the Reform Company coming a little later this morning, so I'll be wrangling the dogs while Yumiko talks to them, and our day will be unfolding. I wish you all the best, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.